Hello, welcome to Mapping with the Moon. We are on day one of this event. I'm so happy to be with you here today. I have such a treat for us. This is a time for us to synchronize and harmonize our energy so that we can kick ass. Yes. So I'm going to check on Instagram and see what's going on there. And it looks like we're live on Instagram. I did it. Yay. All right. So if you're here, go ahead and say hello. I am so happy that you're here. And yay, welcome to Mapping with the Moon. Okay, so it's a little creepy. I have this live streaming software so I can see that Tamika's here, that Jen is here, and Lindsay's here. And this is just so exciting for me. Okay, so let's get real for a minute and just take a deep breath and admit to ourselves that I want to say it's been a week. And more than a week, it's been an amazing, action-packed 2025, and there just hasn't been much of a dull moment. If this is not your personal experience, you likely can notice the chaos in the collective. You can probably see that your friends are going through some stuff. Welcome to March. March is this highly transformational month, and it's not only because it's my birthday month, which happened on Wednesday, but because the new moon in Pisces that happened right before March started initiated us into eclipse season. Now, and I notice we have some people here on Instagram. Hi, Alyssa. Hi, Roxy. Hi, Amber. Hi, Denise. I'm so happy you're here. Casey, I'm so happy you're here. I'm going to be flipping back and forth between the two. So we're in eclipse season. And even though I've been a professional psychic since 2012, whenever I would hear something like, oh, it's eclipse season, like first, I didn't really know what that meant. And second, I wanted to think that it wasn't important, that it didn't impact me. I was so arrogant. I wanted to think that I was like above the stars somehow. And guess what? While we all have the freedom to make the choices that are available to us, while we have the freedom to respond how we want to certain situations, the planets, the moon, the stars, it's all happening with or without our buy-in. And when it's eclipse season, things just get, Raquel says, I always feel above the stars. I did too. And then I just one day surrendered and thought, I'm going to give this a shot. And every time I've always been blown away, not from this victim type of mentality, like, oh, this is why this breakup's happening or la, 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 but because this is why this breakup is happening. This is why things feel super intense. And I get it. Things feel super intense right now. This is why I created Mapping with the Moon. Hi, Richard. I haven't seen you in so long. This is so great. I have gotten so many amazing surprises today. Jackie, I see you're on Instagram. I'm so happy you're here. I've gotten so many amazing surprises today of people telling me they were signed up, going to show up, going to another week. it's been amazing to get these different blasts from the past. And that's probably also because we have a Venus retrograde going on, where Venus, she rules love and relationships and abundance and beauty and all the things that I just love. But it's so wonderful because it can make different people who we haven't talked to in a while return. And that can be a great thing, as it's been for me. And for some of us, there are some people we'd rather not talk to anymore. And believe me, I have them as well. Andrea, hi, I'm so happy you're here. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to talk about the particular moon phase that we're in. I'm going to talk about why this is important, and I'm going to weave in something from this framework that I created called the Illusions of Relationship, because the moon is all about illusion. She's about truth and she's about illusion. And I say the moon is a she because to me, this is the moon goddess. This is the divine feminine. This is the divine mother. And this energy is becoming more and more prevalent right now. And this is happening regardless of if you're male, female, non-binary. It's like suddenly we all saw that we have options, not just in how we identify and express our energy, but we also have options in how we decide to think about certain situations in our lives, how we choose to approach different situations. This is such a powerful time for people like us who are sensitive, who are empathic, who are intuitive, who think outside the box, and who maybe have had a hard time fitting in. This is our time to rise. And even though eclipse season is super crazy and tough, and I'll say that right now at this moment, it seems like I'm vibing with this, and maybe it's because I'm a Pisces sun, and Pisces is our eclipse season, or part of it before we go into Aries. But even though the energies can feel really comfortable right now, there is a transformational portal that is here, that is opening up for you to walk into. And right now, when we're at this first quarter moon cycle, so what this is when it's a half moon. This first quarter moon cycle, and it could be super fun for you if you want to look back on times in your life that things just felt really tense. I wonder if it could have been an eclipse or if it could have been this first quarter process. Because this first quarter moon, what it does is it can really bring conflict to our attention. For instance, you may have had something that was working for you for many, many years. It could have been a dynamic that you have in at least one of your relationships, a role that you played within your community. It could have been a whole belief system. Like maybe it was the religion you were brought up in. I'm just giving some examples. Things that worked for years and years, this might be the time where you're noticing that there's some tension about that. What used to appear to be true, it's no longer true. And, or you're like, wait, is that true? Was that ever true? What is my life right now? This time can feel almost like an existential crisis. And Pisces can give this to us because Pisces doesn't so much have an identity. It loves to flow. And this is regardless of where Pisces is in your astrology chart. This is the collective energy that's happening right now, where we're all guided to surrender to this new way of being, where we're seeing, you know what? They're not really lining up. They're not really making sense like they once were. And it can feel really weird and uncertain and scary when we can just sense that, well, our paradigm's breaking down, or maybe a relationship is ending. Maybe people are transitioning to the other side. And this time in the moon cycle is one where you're going to feel conflicted. You may feel some tension between your heart and how you feel, your head and how you think. But remember that your body, this beautiful vessel and spirit, this all creates your wholeness. And the moon is the divine mother, and she is here to love you, nurture you through this process. And yes, we all know that moms can be these are challenging relationships for us to have too. So right now, with this first quarter moon, you might be aware of the different dichotomies that are happening within your life right now. I see that Elevating Inclusion says, Lauren, thank you so much for doing this for us. You are so welcome. I'm so happy that you're here. And I'm so happy that Yoga with Jason's here and Quiet Mornings is here. This is so great. I go back and forth between Instagram and this so that I can just feel like I'm connected with all of you. So if you are feeling challenged right now, if you don't know what to think about something, if you're feeling the confusion, if maybe in the new moon time or earlier this year, you set some goals for yourself and you're seeing like, wow, I don't think this is working, or conflict and arguments are just at an all-time high, you're not alone. And again, if you're having a time right now where you feel like you're in your power and flowing, that is amazing. And if you want to get there, now is the time for you to set some boundaries. And you can start right now by setting them with yourself and just telling yourself, hey, this is not forever. This is a moment in time. And this is actually a really powerful time for me to become more of the amazing, and well, you are an amazing divine being, but to allow that more into your physical and human experience. This is the time. So as I mentioned, the moon, she comes with her illusions and her delusions and her confusion and her clarity and her truth. And it is so important for you to be aware of what these are and what to look for. So as I mentioned before, I created this system called the Illusions of Relationship. And it's been this whole process for myself that started when I began doing this professionally, and it's evolved over time. But what these essentially are is these are patterns of illusion that push love away. These are the misconceptions and the untruths that have gotten somehow trapped in your energy field, that have been influencing you in your relationships and how you relate to different things. And I started getting curious about how this would look with the moon cycle. And what came to me to talk about today for our first day of mapping with the moon, where next week we're actually going to have a full moon, which is the total lunar eclipse that's happening. That's happening on Wednesday. Also, Mercury's going retrograde when the moon has its lunar eclipse. So it's going to be super fun for all of us. And then on Friday, we're going to meet and we're going to just work through it together. So these illusions of relationship, the two that came up that really wanted to be showcased are the illusion of control and the illusion of sacrifice. So for this time, it seems really good that the illusion of control can come up, because as people, we want to like we want to be in control, or we want some sense of control. And truthfully, mapping with the moon is, I'm not going to say it's controlling on my part to be so energized by this, but it does give me a feeling of empowerment to be connected with the Divine Mother, the moon, and this lunar wisdom to find the truth and understanding. So this is, in my opinion, a positive aspect of the illusion of control. Now, a not so great aspect of that will totally come up for all of us, whether it's now or it's a theme we notice throughout our lives and within our relationships, or it's down the line, or is when we're influenced by the illusion of control. This is when we can start to want to really like dominate our life. This is the patriarchy. And we see this all over the place. We see this in, like, I'm even thinking, because my husband just informed me that daylight savings time is happening. Well, it's not daylight savings time. It's when we spring forward instead of back. And I just think it's so controlling because I like having that extra hour in the day. So I'm like, they're taking this away from me. But then I'm being super controlling too, because I'm like, no, don't do that. I want that hour. So that's Lindsay's like, that's right, bro. Yeah, like that's my guy voice and it's fun to do. But when we're in the illusion of control, it's also something that happens when we can micromanage the universe from giving us these blessings. When we block the magic from unfolding, it's when we want something to happen a very specific way. And in the first quarter moon cycle, this is the part where we may feel like what we're working toward, what's the use? There are all these obstacles and challenges. You may think, oh, I must be on the wrong path. I need to give up. Or you're just going to keep forcing yourself ahead despite all of the red flags and the resistance. So notice where that might be showing up for you. And I'm just going to look at Instagram, and I think Quiet Mornings is here. That's wonderful. Hi. So Instagram's funny as everybody has their handles, and I'm not quite sure who's who, but I'm so glad everyone's here. Elevating Inclusion says, I recently realized I was micromanaging the universe or trying to, LOL, and stopping felt so good. I'm so glad that you said that, because when we can notice, oh shit, I'm micromanaging, like you really are blocking your flow. And in this month of March, Pisces is all about letting go and surrendering and just allowing itself to flow. It's water. And when we do that, it really does help us. So some of you are probably wondering, well, how do I do that? How do I trust? Well, trust is a big thing. So first of all, you don't have to fully put your trust into this process, but just acknowledging, yes, I can see how that's happening and I'm willing to modify it, maybe at least. And that can be super fun for you. But to break free of the illusion of control, you got to connect with your heart. And if it's not your heart, just that softer, that intuitive voice, that wise voice, and we can do that through reflection. So just something for you all to think about there. And by the way, people who are like super influenced or who deal with the illusion of control a lot in their lives, that's not the one that gets me. We'll talk about mine next week when we go into the illusion of drama. But illusion of control people, they really are great at taking care of others, of making sure everybody has what they need. They're good at getting things done. They're great at organizing. So there's some, and that can be amazing with professional success. But when it comes to relationships, or when you go to cultivate that that wisdom, that intuition within yourself that can kind of get in the way. And I call the part of us that gets in the way junior. Juniors are the word I use for ego. It just makes it super fun to talk about it like that. So we have the divine mother helping our juniors. So sweet, right? So with the illusion of sacrifice, this one can be a big one for us. Especially because the people who are here, who I see on this call, like we're the ones who are great. The illusion of control and the illusion of sacrifice, both of these are excellent at taking care of others. Now, the illusion of sacrifice gets into a lot of the energy of, I'm going to say, the divine feminine in an imbalanced way, where it's so selfless that it can go into suffering and self-martyring. And what the illusion of control struggles with is setting boundaries. I think I just said the illusion of control. The illusion of sacrifice struggles with setting boundaries. They can struggle to make the big changes in their life. Like maybe it's telling your partner, I don't want to be the provider anymore. We need to look at something else. Or it is letting people know what you will do moving forward versus what you're no longer going to do. This can be big because a lot of juniors' voices with the illusion of sacrifice that can come up are, you're selfish. It doesn't matter. You should just keep doing what you're doing. And this can really keep you in this place of tension, which again is our theme for today and day one of mapping with the moon. And what we're going to do over the week is we're going to be gaining momentum toward that full moon, which is a total lunar eclipse that's happening in Virgo. And what's going to happen is the different parts of us that keep us from our power are going to be making themselves known. And that can feel really uncomfortable as well. So instead of being mean to yourself, like, why am I still doing this? Why am I not setting these boundaries? Why am I not sleeping because I'm doing so-and-so's work? Or why am I not empowering other people? Like whatever it is, you can also notice juniors' critique of you as well, and just use this as information for you to reflect on and be aware of, and know that the moon and the stars are all supporting you and making these shifts. And the advice that's coming in right now is just to stay connected to yourself. Stay connected to all parts of you, the parts that are scared, the parts that have discomfort right now, and also to spirit and to your higher self and the divine being that is within you, as well as a person who you are becoming. I know that's like a lot. And a friend once recently told me, she said, you would say things to me like, oh, like my spirit is saying this, or I really need to get in touch with the divine about this. Like I would say things and she didn't understand what I meant until recently. She had an experience and she was like, this is what Lauren meant. And I was just, oh. So it's a lot to just kind of blah out to you. It's more of a feeling, and very simply put, the guidance is to just check in and to love your past self, your current self, your future self, and to know that you're on track especially because you're here, especially because you're gaining awareness. Everything is working out, even if it feels a little crazy right now. So what we're going to do next, I'm going to give the group a collective reading, and then I want to draw cards for a few people. I'm just giving some mini readings. I'm using an oracle deck that makes it super easy for me. So if you want a card, go ahead and let me know, as I'm not going to grab one for you if I don't see that you want one. So do that, but we are going to do the collective reading now. But before we do, I'm just going to go over here to Instagram. Michelle Luff is here. She's my birthday twin. This is amazing. Quiet Mornings, I am happy that you are here. Okay. So, Jen says, yes, please. Okay. Well, we'll get to this in just a bit, but I will be checking back and forth. And my plan is to be out of here. I'm not like my plans to be out of here in a quick 10. Not really. But just in the next half an hour or so, because I got to get ready for this amazing dinner reservation at this vegan fine dining restaurant that my husband made for me. And I'm so excited. Okay. So as I shuffle these cards, here's what I need from you all, because you all are here. I want you to take a moment to connect with your heart. And one way I like to do that is if I'm able to. And if you're driving, no need to do this. We got you covered. And if you're not here live, there is no such thing as time, spiritually speaking. There is if you're going to be late for your dentist appointment. But when it comes to all things spirit, your energy is already here anyway. So if you're able to take a moment to connect with yourself and with your heart. And I like to do this through connecting with my breath. And I'm just going to say, Moon Goddess, we love you. Thank you for being with us. I request spiritual assistance in channeling a reading for our amazing group, for all of the people who are here live, for all of those who watch the recording. I ask that everything that I say, that it is accurate, authentic, and that it helps everyone who listens to this navigate with love, trust, and confidence. And right now, beloveds, I want all of you to set your intention for our collective reading. And if you wanted a card, I'm probably going to ask you again for the personal reading as well. So and it can be a sentence, a word, a feeling, whatever it is, now's the time to do that. Okay, and so it is. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Yes, I'm lighting the jasmine incense, and I'm lighting my moon candle because we're going to dive in. So what's coming in right now is you're coming out of this place where you are noticing just how go, go, go our culture is. Work culture, US, everything is just go, go, go. You are also aware that other people in a lot of ways have set the rules for you. And some of these rules are good ones. And some of these rules aren't. And when I said are not, I'm thinking of the homeowners association and how they just have a vendetta against dandelions and all that bullshit. There are rules that have been made that some resonate with you and some do not. And right now you may be exploring these differences in who you used to be versus who you are now. You may notice that the people who you once enjoyed spending time with, maybe you still love them as people, but you're feeling a disconnect between you and others. And the word that's coming in for me now is values. You may notice what your values are and how they are shifting. You might want to ask yourself, this used to be true for me. Is it still true? And get in touch with what is important to you. And how I said that this culture, this whole collective energy that, like it or not, it does influence us. Whether we watch the news or not, or we have our own businesses and we don't have to work for a boss, or we have children or don't. No matter what, we can't exactly separate ourselves from it. Again, these things are happening with or without our buy-in. But what we can do is look at our judgments about it. We can look at who we want to be. And we can notice the differences that we have with others. And we can just be in the discomfort. This is a magical time. Notice how your values are shifting. And also, what's coming in right now is your mind is more powerful than you realize. The moon, like in Western astrology, in the tropical system, we usually hear about the moon as like, this is our inner world. These are our emotions. So true. And in Vedic astrology, the Indian astrology, and I love both of them so much. Like lately, I've been more resonating with the Western system, but I love the Vedic system. And when they talk about the moon, it's from, well, the moon is your mind. And the mind isn't just being trapped in your head or your monkey mind, but your mind is how you feel, how you think. And it's also how you cope with different things that are happening in your life. And some of us have an easier time than others. And right now, with the position of where the moon is and how we're moving toward full illumination with the full moon that's happening next week, it's going to feel uncomfortable. And you may notice that the old ways of coping aren't really working anymore. And this is because spirit, your spirit, wants your attention. So if you've been noticing how, like, the differences you have between you and your friends, between you and the collective, between who you were and who you are now, who you're becoming, you're right on track. Spirit also wants me to mention how there is a universal law of polarity that I love to talk about. Universal laws are also these things that are true whether or not we believe in them or buy into them. A popular one is the law of attraction. But the law of polarity is very useful as well, because it lets us know that if the thing that we want is not currently in our experience, It is, because everything has an opposite. So if, let's say, what you want is this amazing relationship where you're totally connected to your partner, but what you have is, like, maybe there's a lot of tension with your significant other, or maybe you haven't met your special someone yet. Like, so there's a lack or an opposite of that. Well, this lets you know where you're at. It gives you a frame of reference, and you can also use the lack part of it to move you into that new state or intention or hope, a goal that you want. So what's happening right now that Spirit is asking you to be okay with is that things aren't really as intense as they seem. And I'm like, is Spirit gaslighting us right now? Are you serious? But these are things that have been happening. Right now, they're particularly amplified. And if you can acknowledge the illusion of control and the illusion of sacrifice, like whether others are, like, there's this perception that you're trying to be controlled. Well, sure, like that happens all the time, but it's noticing what you give your attention to and what you do not, and realizing that there is always a way to respond in the moment that is authentic. And for the illusion of sacrifice, something that I noticed is that when somebody is so in the illusion of sacrifice, they can get really angry. And instead of acknowledging their anger, because anger is actually very useful, because it can show us where we've given our power away, where we haven't spoken or lived our truth. It can show us where we need to set some boundaries. But the thing is that those of us who've been really heavily conditioned into the illusion of sacrifice, we may think that we're a bad person if we have boundaries or get angry. And this is all just an illusion. So Spirit would also like you to realize that maybe things aren't happening as quickly as you want them to right now, but that's just Junior's timing and Junior's agenda. And remember, Junior's a word that we use for ego. And you're being asked to trust that there is another path for you, that there is another awareness for you, that big things are happening for you. So what we're moving into is noticing the different illusions that we buy into. If there is something in your life where you tell yourself, this just keeps happening to me, it's over and over again, it keeps happening. Well, maybe it's time to get curious about that. I'm just like, yes, why does that keep happening? And if you feel victimized by a group of people, by another person, that is valid. But to just own that, it's like, yeah, I'm perceiving that I feel victimized here. Or I'm perceiving that I have to control the situation and then look like the victimizer. Notice these things, because if you have this awareness in your mind, it will make its way into your physical experience, where you will get an opportunity to respond to something in a completely different way. Moon Goddess would also like to ask you to let go of your need for certainty. And I know that, well, I'm not going to say I know that that's terrifying, but I can certainly relate to that, as we want things to be certain and wrapped up a certain way, because it follows a life template and we know what's going to happen. But that's an illusion too. allow for things to be unpredictable, but you can stand your ground. You can flow and you can trust and know that new things are happening. So that is what we just went through for our collective reading. I'm going to transition into grabbing cards for everybody. I'm shuffling right now. But first, let me see if there's any comment you have or anything you want to say. I love hearing from you. I go, oh, hello, Jose. I'm so happy you're here. Okay, so while I get these cards ready, so if you want a card, please let me know. I'm not going to grab one for you if you didn't tell me that you wanted one. As I'm shuffling these cards, if you wanted a card, Rob, I'm so happy to see you. Go ahead and get in touch with your intention for your card. And I also am guided to share that if somebody else's card resonates with you, well, maybe it's for you as well. So, because, we're all here for a reason. And I believe that what somebody else receives could also help you as well. And Tamika says, wow, trust and flow, have to go, 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 and can't seem to do it all. So just relax and let it unfold. Not easy. I can so relate with that. And what I think it is too, and I'm so glad you brought this up, is an illusion of scarcity where we think there's not enough time and I have to get it done now. And yes, I understand that some things are time sensitive, but what the moon goddess, and this is not just for me, Tamika, not just for you, Tamika, but it's for me and for all of us to hear, is the moon goddess wants us to know that things unfold in their own time and to trust the process and to stop trying to control and to just go with the flow. And right now it's recognizing that tension. So as we get into these cards, and we're going to start with Jen. I don't know, some of you here do know this because you're members. I have something called the Clarity Portal. It's a membership site that I have where I send out weekly predictions every Friday to people who are members of the Clarity Portal. There are also daily messages and then a monthly energy report that goes out to assist everyone in navigating with love, trust, and confidence. And this month especially, I've gotten several emails and text messages about how if they hadn't have watched the March video, they would just be like extra angry and lost. So anyway, the reason I do this and I map with the moon and I host events like this is because I know how much it helps me to stay on track. And by on track, I mean, I'm not conforming to these roles or this life template, but what I'm doing is I'm staying on track with myself and the energies. And I'm so grateful that I get to support others with that as well. Okay, so Jen, let's start with you. So first of all, I'm grabbing cards from this. It's what's it called? The Psychic Tarot for the Heart Oracle deck by John Holland. This deck is great for doing these kinds of readings. So Jen, what I get here is giving and receiving. And what's coming in right away is for you to know that you are such a powerful person, and what you put energy into, you get back in spades, is what they're telling me. So notice where you're giving your energy and where you're receiving. And if there's a part where you feel like, gosh, I'm giving and giving and giving, what about the receiving? There may be a boundary that needs to be set as well. And I'm saying this for all of us. Abundance is this. I'm doing this because this is the infinity symbol, and it's giving and receiving, giving and receiving. And if there's an imbalance on either of these, it can really make the whole cycle of abundance hard because something gets backed up. So you're also encouraged to share your heart and to give in this way, and to know that these blessings are coming. When all of us share from our heart and we live our truth, that is such an abundant choice to do anyway, because there's been all these rules telling us about how we're supposed to be and how we're not supposed to be. But the more people who step into this, the more voices get to be heard. And we have this beautiful cycle of giving and receiving. So thank you, Jen. Carrie, hi, I'm so happy you're here. Yay. Carrie, this card is for you. It says heal. And I love this card because this man, he's just like, his heart is just out. It's shining bright. And these chains are just breaking off him. And this is such a beautiful, and the word that comes in, vital reminder for you to just remember, like, you can let go. And this is for all of us. If we feel like we're chained to something that we don't like, we hold the key. Like, we have like the key to the handcuffs or whatever to break free. So this is letting you know that it's safe to let go, that you in your power is sexy. Like, it's sexy, it's magnetic. And when you're in your power, you're unstoppable. And when I cough, it's like something needs to be said. So you are unstoppable, and there is no need to hold yourself back anymore. Own it, girl. Okay. So Rebecca, hi. I'm so happy you're here. Okay, beauty. So this card is rest and reconsider. And after this, I'm going to go look at Instagram and see who wants a card. Is rest and reconsider. And this is so important because right now is not the time to leap into action. This is for you, Rebecca. It's also for everyone who's listening to this. There's something that needs your attention. If there's something that you're like, I have to do this right now, or something you're feeling that just seems particularly like charged or emotionally loaded, it's good to just rest and reconsider and wait. What they're telling me is more options will come through. It's not just this or that. There's an encouragement to live in abundance and know that more is coming through, but also a reminder that with this first quarter moon, we're going to be in a lot of this or that type of thinking. So check yourself on this. Not just Rebecca, but all of us need to check ourselves on this. And remember, it's not just one or the other. There are other options that maybe our mind isn't open to see. So I'm going to look at Instagram and see who would like a card over here. Quiet Mornings. Hi, this one's for you. So for Quiet Mornings, we have this card and it says rebuild. And this card just feels like sheer empowerment to me. What I'm feeling is this person's has the divine will coming through her. And she also has Mother Earth coming through her. And it's like, well, shit, what was cannot be. I will not go back to who I've been. It is time to rebuild. So for you specifically, Quiet Mornings, they're being very like emphatic about don't think about going back. You cannot go back to who you were. Now is now. And they're also reminding you that you are supported, that you that you are not alone, and that this next chapter is going to be very empowering and magical. And while I gave you this reading, my moonstone just beckoned to me. And so I grabbed her, and I'm feeling that you need, if you don't have moonstone already, get a piece and just have her with you. Do some breathing and meditation. This will remind you of your power and will continue to do that. So we're going to grab one for Lindsay now. Lindsay, this says spread your wings. And this is Lindsay Rose, by the way, in case we have another Lindsay here. This says spread your wings. And I love this so much. I love how I have a judgment on every card. I love this card because of this. But this spread your wings is you're guided to just lead open-hearted and to really be in the divine flow. See how she has this, it's just this divine intelligence, this cosmic dust, the stardust that's coming through her, reminding her of her power. She's open, she's ready. And this path, everything is illuminated for you, and you don't have to go any faster. You don't have to go any slower. Your pace is just right. And live from your freedom is what they're telling me. So now I'm going to go look at Instagram real quick. Okay, Alyssa, yay. Okay, so Alyssa, the card that I have for you is Opportunity Beckons. And this is super beautiful and important because you've been waiting for something for so long. I'm not sure if you were exactly specific about what that is, but what I'm seeing here is this is something that the totality of you has been wanting, and you're going to get, and you have been getting some signs and whispers about it. And they are just asking you to trust. And what I love about this, because I always have a judgment on these, is that we have the moon in the card. So continue the spiritual practices that you have. Continue connecting with the moon, with yourself, having conversations with the divine. And what I'm seeing is opportunity. It has to do with your words as well. So keep going. I'm gonna speed it up a bit because I want to make sure all the people on Instagram get it, because I think that they'll cut us off at 5. So let me. Okay, so Amber says that she'll take a card, and her card is the clarity of belief. And this is a reminder of how powerful your mind is. And I want to just say something real quick. I just decided that if this live stream ends on Instagram, like right at 5 or 5:01 or whatever, just come onto Facebook or YouTube. There will also be a replay, and I'll have your card on there as well. So I hope that works out. I hope it works out for us. So Amber, clarity of belief. You have to know that it is working out for you. You have to know that. And the things that you want are coming to you. And what's coming forward is this opportunity for you to create massive, massive trust with the divine right now. And just to remember who you are. And they're telling me that sometimes it's easy to remember who we are when things are going really well, but when they're not, we forget. Remember who you are. Remember how powerful you are and how powerful your mind is, and continue to do the things that support you. Meditation, exercise, having some good boundaries in place where you take care of yourself. This is going to help you remember who you are and move forward with stamina. They're telling me stamina and grace. So I see Jackie here. I'm just writing them down in case this goes away. I see Casey. Okay, Jackie and Casey are the ones on Instagram, and I'm actually going to grab a card for Tamika right now. Tamika, your card says well-deserved reward. This is amazing. I know how hard you have been working, how dedicated you have been, how reflective and insightful you've been, and a well-deserved reward is on its way for you. They're telling me it's pretty much here now. And what they're asking you to do is just to receive it and to own how freaking amazing and dynamic you are. You are on this whole new pillar, and you're holding up a light for all the people in your life to show them what's possible. And they're also saying to say no pressure. Just keep going. Keep going. You are on the right track. So now we're going to grab one for Jackie. Jackie, this card is trust. You are in the divine flow. You are with the divine. And it can feel so scary to take that leap of faith and to live your life radically and to make choices that people don't really understand. But you're guided to trust yourself and your process and what spirit, what the goddess is pulling you toward. And you are doing such a great job on this, and just keep going with your heart open, fully paying attention to how you feel, and let yourself just move through it. Trust this process. It's like you're in this trust fall, and I see angels holding you so that you know that you're not going to have like this terrible fall, that it's safe to fly. So I'm going to grab Casey's card, and then we'll have Roth's, and I think we'll be finished at that point. So Casey, the card that I have for you is New Vitality. Wow. This is your card. You have gone through something that has awakened and continues to awaken these different parts of you. There is what's coming in is there's almost this advocacy that's rising within you. And this doesn't have to be the traditional form that the advocate archetype would take. What I'm seeing is this is standing for yourself and what's important to yourself, and to really own the wisdom that you have. And it doesn't matter if other people receive it right away or not. What's coming in is you're in this new chapter where validation just isn't going to be as important. You know what matters. They're telling me that you're in your values, and to really bask in this new energy and to move forward what gives you energy, and to let go of what drains you. And I think that's excellent advice for all of us. So Roth, the card that I grabbed for you is sadness and isolation. And what I love about this card, what's interesting about it is it looks like an eclipse. See, if you're looking at the image here. And this shows me that you are so on the right track of like what you're feeling and sensing right now. And it may feel isolating and sad, and you may want to curl up in a ball sometimes, and that's okay. I'm so glad that you're here and we got to draw this card, because as we build up to the eclipse and on the eclipse and for a little bit after that, I'm so glad we're having this event, is that we're all going to kind of notice a shift in our energy levels, and some of us are going to be extra tired. And if you, Roth, notice this within yourself, or anyone else does, this is a time to really allow yourself to rest, to pencil in time for rest, and to put rest in this amazing reflection for yourself. I think reflecting on things is a form of rest, but to actually sleep more, if that's what's needed, and it is, like, this is a time to let yourself sleep, let your guides work on you while you sleep, and to love yourself. And also, when we feel like we're in isolation, we also need to realize the power in that, because there's a power to having an outside perspective. Yes, it can be painful to perceive that we're in isolation, but the isolation is giving you this unique perspective that you have. Something is incubating inside of you, and the universal law of gestation, something is ready to rebirth, or it's getting ready to do that. So love yourself. For all of us, love yourself, nourish the soil of your emotional well-being, of your spiritual health. And what they're guiding me to do as we close up is just, yes, with all the conflict going on, with all the illusions, if you're in the illusion of control with someone else, where there's some controlling dynamics that are taking place at work or what have you, or you're doing the illusion of sacrifice thing where you're just going, what you need to do instead is to keep clearing your energy. I have some Palo Santo right now, and Palo Santo is excellent for clearing energy. So I'm going to light this for all of us as we get ready to close up today. When you bathe, imagine the divine just washing that disruptive or negative energy off you. Even if it's good energy, you don't need to take that to bed with you. You don't have to take it into your day. If you like burning things and incense as much as I do, do that. Meditate, go on a walk. This is the best time for that. So, beauties, we're going into the eclipse. This is happening on Wednesday, and next week we are meeting on Friday, and we're meeting 2 hours later than we did today. So for me, that's 6 p.m. Central Time. That's going to be 4 p.m. Pacific Time, 7 p.m. Eastern Time. And I don't know why I was guided to do it that late, but I'm into it and I'm listening. So we're going to be here to process through the eclipse, and whatever you notice that comes up for you from here leading up to that, please let me know. You can write it in the comments here. You can send me a personal email. And please, if you know someone who can benefit from this event, share this with them. And if you do, I will enter you in to win a drawing for a special gift of my choice, which I will know more about. I know that I'm doing this, but Spirit will tell me what that gift is, and we'll find out more about that. If you don't know me, if you don't know this about me, I'm always following guidance, and I'm so glad that the people in my life accept that about me. I'm always delighted as a result, and I hope that it delights other people too. So let's end with taking a deep breath together. And right now, I am going to create an energy blessing for every single person who attended this call live and who is listening to the recording. And if you'd like to receive it, just say yes. And if you don't, no worries. It'll go to the earth. I'm creating the energy blessing of divine understanding and moon goddess support. And I'm sending this blessing to your guides, and they're going to uphold it for you, at least until next week, but as long as it takes. So I look forward to hearing from you. I'm sending you so much love. Thank you.